Good afternoon. Welcome back to Harmon Speaks. This week we have a guest named Mr. Mark Bigler. I like to call him my friend, but we just met on Monday. So I'd be exaggerating a little bit, but I'm becoming his friend and I like him. I met Mark over at Spark, where a lot of good things are happening. And we did a show about him a few weeks ago, you may remember. And I'm looking forward to talking to him again today. Mark, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm glad to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, thank you. We are talking with you today about vision loss. And I know you experienced that. And I will hope you can share some about that and help us understand. First of all, how much vision do you have?
Well, that's a good question. It is limited. I can see in general terms, but details are fuzzy.
Okay, so you can generally know what's in the room, but not necessarily everything, right?
Right.
Okay. When you're walking around, how does that affect you?
I bump into a lot of doors and walls and just grazing them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I get around pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I do use a cane out on the outside sometimes, going very far.
And you told me there was a reason why you used it. Why do you use it?
Well, for short distances, I can see pretty well, but mainly it was for the traffic, for the drivers to identify me.
Right.
As I said, I'd hate to run over anybody.
Especially if you're in a 5,000-pound car.
Yeah.
Do you have trouble crossing streets and that sort of thing?
I do. I have to listen for the traffic some.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you just listen if nothing's coming, it's safe, huh? Okay. I can see that working in your neighborhood fairly well, but out in the world that might be a little tricky.
It's a little harder, yes.
Because traffic's always coming somewhere. So, okay, all right. If they have traffic lights, can you see them?
Somewhat. I'm having trouble with certain colors. Red, I don't see very well anymore.
Okay.
That's kind of important.
Okay. So we'll go back now. What caused your vision loss?
It's called Stargardt, and
Okay.
it's very similar to macular degeneration.
Okay.
It involves the macula, and I'm not sure exactly how it's just not functioning properly anymore.
Is the macular a part of the eye or a nerve, or what is that?
It's the back portion of the eye.
Okay. The retina portion?
Yes.
Okay.
Back in there.
So when you have macular degeneration, it just ceases to function?
It's not picking up the signals, the light rays and such as well.
Okay. So with Stargardt, what's the difference?
I'm not really sure. I've only been recently diagnosed with that. I found out that it is genetic.
Okay.
And so it's been traced back to my mother's side of the family. But I've had vision problems all my life, but it's been more acute in the recent, about a year or so.
Right. Can they do anything medically to help your vision?
I have asked.
No.
No.
No, okay. Well, I know my father had macular degeneration, and that scares me to death, but I just got to admit that. Hopefully Neil will walk me around when I can't see anymore. But he had to take shots in his eyes, which made me cry a lot when I learned that, because I don't think I have that kind of bravery.
Well, when you're faced with the prospect of blindness, even shots and such might sound pretty good, because we function so much by sight.
Right.
We learn so much by sight, and so many things we enjoy, by sight, and I'd give most anything to be able to see, to be independent. Just drive myself where I need to go, and not be dependent on others.
Right. So, at what point in your life did you start losing your vision?
Well, all my life it's been poor.
Okay.
And at first I thought, well, anybody saw that way. But I realized that I was a little different. But it's really been more pronounced over this last year.
Okay.
There's blank spots covering the full field of vision. And
What do you mean by blind spots covering?
it looks like a peppering of black dots,
Okay.
and they're getting a little larger.
Oh, okay.
And
that's over your whole field of vision?
right.
Okay.
And now I'm starting to lose my center vision.
Okay.
So
That's in the middle of your eye?
right.
Right.
But they say I'll hopefully be able to keep the periphery, the outer portion of my
Right.
sight.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hopefully.
but I've met some wonderful people, instructors and things that who've lost even more sight, and they were inspirational to me.
Okay. Tell me about one of them.
Well, one gentleman, he'd been blind all his life, and he was able to read Braille.
Mm-hmm.
He would turn the page sideways and lay it on his chest and just read one line after another in a
Right.
conversational speed.
Uh-huh.
And that was
Wow.
amazing.
That is amazing.
That's something for me to aspire to.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I
Do you
make
read Braille?
a bit, but I'm going to have to practice on that.
Okay. Okay. Were you ever a reader?
It was hard to translate it to the fingertips, but
Right.
I learned a lot of it. But I'm going to have to go back over it again. It's been a
Right.
while,
Okay. Okay.
but it's definitely going to be a big part of my life, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Braille before, and when I touch it, I don't really think I have that sensitivity that I can really tell what it's doing.
Yeah.
I guess if I had no choice, I could figure that out, but I like everybody else. I think I just do it too quickly and don't understand it. But
And some people rely on other means like recorders or something where they can listen back to it.
right, right. Do you watch TV?
For the time being, but I have to get up rather close to see it.
Okay.
Oftentimes I'm listening more than watching.
Listen when watching. Okay. Any other activities that you do or don't do because of blindness?
Oh, well, I'm starting to learn how to cook.
Okay.
And that's important, living alone.
Mhm.
And I do like to eat, so.
Yeah. You and me both. Are you a pretty good cook?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I generally overcook some of the meats, and I'm having to work on that too. But,
Right. Right.
learning how to get around the kitchen and not cut fingers or
Right.
adjusting the temperature settings and such.
Mhm.
But there are things that one can use to help them, timers and different things they can do.
Mhm.
So a lot of nice gadgets that'll help, and a nice support
Mhm.
people that can help give
Mhm.
some guidance.
Right. And I know you use a computer. Tell me about how your computer is modified.
Well, most computers have magnification built into it,
Uh-huh.
and also a narrator if you choose, and they
Okay.
can read it for you.
Mhm.
And actually, I'm hoping to start using a software program called JAWS, which is a screen reader,
Mhm.
and be taking some classes in that.
Okay. Mhm.
And that'll help me navigate on the internet and do grocery shopping or shopping for whatever else,
Uh-huh.
or listening to the news online or whatever.
Right. Are you learning to do that through Spark?
I will be,
Okay.
or the vocational rehab, which is
Mhm.
part of that.
I like to plug them whenever I get a chance because I
Oh,
think
yes.
they're wonderful people.
Oh,
So
I agree.
they've helped you a lot, I assume. But we'll be helping you some.
Oh, yes.
I hope so. That's great. How do people react when you're out in public to your vision loss?
There's a mixed reaction. A lot of the people out there, drivers and such, are especially thoughtful, especially when they see the cane.
All right.
They'll sit and wait when they could have had opportunity to go, and some of them will wait back a little ways, and that's reassuring. Some people are not thinking about what's that's out there and they're on their phone or something, and
Right.
I have to watch out for them.
Right, right.
And
We all have to watch out for them.
in a social setting, some
Right.
people, they will be overly cautious in talking with me, worrying about possibly offending me,
Okay.
saying something that might hurt my feelings. And I just give a little humor
Hmm.
and kind of ease the tension, and they come to realize that I'm just like everybody else.
Right. Sure.
And so
It takes
we
a little
laugh,
while.
we laugh and move on.
Okay. 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 Did you say you had a church that responded rather uniquely to your issues?
Yes, that was one of them.
Hmm.
They were some of the people that were worried about offending me. And so the next week I came back and I said, came back all excited, and I said, I've got a job. I said, really, what are you doing? I said, parking valet. And that lightened the mood. They understood, and they laughed, and they were fine thereafter. They didn't
Right.
worry about it. We cut up and kid around. And
That
I
joke
wasn't-
made you my friend instantly. That's hysterical. I like that.
Another fellow said there was a couple that sat in the pew in front of us, and so we talked quite a bit, and my wife and I with them, and we were meeting after Bible study and getting ready to go into worship service, and it's a big hallway there, and I heard my name called by this gentleman. I said, Mark Bigler. I said, got a little closer. I said, what a coincidence! That's my name too. So, a little humor there. Just,
Yeah, that always helps,
fun.
I think.
It's fun.
That is good. I was at a party once years ago and met a woman there that I was singularly unimpressed with. And she asked me what I did for a living, and I told her I was a concert pianist.
Oh.
She never missed a beat. Wow, that's fascinating, really? And everybody around her is just laughing. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. And I had to explain that I was joking, but...
She wasn't blind, was she?
What?
She wasn't blind, was she?
No, she was
Oh,
not.
okay.
That would have been unfair. But she also isn't my wife now. So when I tried that crap with her, it didn't work. So that's funny. I think this is interesting, although it has nothing to do with your vision loss. Tell everybody what you used to do for a living.
I used to be in funeral service work, an undertaker.
I find that fascinating.
So,
I have a morbid sense of curiosity about death, but I really find that very interesting. I'm sad to say he has very few scary ghost stories, though. But that's okay.
Well,
Halloween is past, so we'll move on.
I always found it was the living to worry about more than the dead. So
Yeah, okay. Well, fair enough. What else do we need to know about vision loss that I failed to ask you?
it's a good question. That's kind of a broad, general question.
Sure.
I think it would be helpful for both the person who is visually impaired and for others who are coming in contact with them, whether it's just as an acquaintance or whatever, just to be a little more patient with each other and understanding, and we're just like everybody else, but we just have to do things a little differently.
Right.
And it might take a little longer. Oftentimes I find myself having to explain to people over the phone, I'm legally blind, so this, you're looking for numbers or something or information, it might take me a little longer to get it to you. That sort of thing. And generally they're pretty receptive.
Most people are fairly patient.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
accommodating for the most part.
Good. Are you glad that you're continuing to get out in the world as much as you are?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is a great town to do it. The people are friendly and got public transportation. The community I lived in before didn't have that. It was a small rural community. And so this is a great opportunity.
So if you do need to get around, how do you do that?
Oftentimes I call up the bus service. It's a secondary service for people who are physically handicapped or blind. It's called Cat Lift.
Cat Lift, okay.
And they'll show right up at your door.
Okay, and take you where you need to go, huh?
Yeah.
Do you usually share that ride with other people, or is it one at a time?
It depends. It depends on how many people are scheduled for that particular time. I've ridden with people as many as 5 or 6.
Okay.
And sometimes I've had the bus to myself.
Okay, well, great. And it's pretty easy to arrange, huh?
It is.
You just give them a call and they work it out? Okay. All right. Well, are there any other services in town you wish you had?
Hotline to some of these restaurants, maybe.
What?
Maybe a hotline to some of these restaurants.
Okay.
No, I'm sure I could call up and
well, if they ever choose to pay for my channel, DoorDash is a good idea, but I will not endorse you until you pay me. So anyway, go ahead.
No, but since the COVID restrictions, things have been somewhat restricted and limited, and so I'm just starting to learn some of these places in Leonardstown.
Okay, well, great.
So far, people have been terrific.
All right, I'm glad to hear that. I really am. And I appreciate you being on the show, Mark. We're going to kind of bring it to a close here. But I hope you heard what he said. Getting out into the world is worth it, no matter what your disability may be. I hope you'll use this show as encouragement to get out into the world, chase whatever dreams you may have, live your best life. We only get one shot that we know of, so let's use it to the best of our ability. I urge you to be go outgoing and find what you need out of life. Thank you for joining us today. It's always my pleasure to bring this to you. Please remember that I have a challenge with our friends at Catalyst Sports, that if I have 1,000 followers or subscribers by May the 1st, I will go much against my grain and you take a kayak ride with Catalyst Sports. I know they're back where they are laughing at me, but my chubby body will be on the water in the kayak if you get me 1,000 subscribers. We're still only around 250, so I'm not worried yet. So start bringing in those numbers. We need the numbers. Please, when you watch the video, please like it. Please subscribe. Please continue to support us. We're doing our best to bring some good into the world. Thank you, and have a great day.